Hi guys, Chamion here. I hope all is well. Today I am going to do a meatballs demo for you all. This is the way I do meatballs, and for that, to make my version of meatballs, you will need some Italian breadcrumbs or seasoned breadcrumbs. You can also use the plain one if you are hypertensive, because this is seasoned. You will need a couple of eggs depending on how much beef you are using. This is 4 eggs in here, right? Of course it will be beaten. I'll beat it as we are progressing, right? This is some garlic, granulated garlic and granulated onion or powdered onion and powder garlic, right? You will need some bush. You know, it's always a bit of laughter with this sauce, right? When we try to pronounce it, everybody pronounces it. Makes it somewhat of a joke because the pronunciation varies by everyone. But the name of it is Worcestershire sauce, right? That's the name of it. It's made with things like distilled vinegar, water, cornstarch, sugar, spices, caramel, and of course molasses, and the list goes on. You will need a complete blend of Italian seasonings. You will need some red chili flakes or crushed chili peppers as it is known, and of course salt and pepper, which I have here. I'm going to be using main sea salt in my grinder. It's from Stonewall, it's Stonewall brand, right? My peppercorns, this is, if you don't know, this is what whole black peppercorns looks like. This is a mixture though, but the whole black peppercorns is just that color was called, which is black, but my own is a mix, right, of peppercorns. And of course it's a grinder. Both the salt and this is in a grinder, right? I know you guys understood what I said. It says this is our fresh seasonings. You all know that's all I work with. So for that, I don't put shadow belly or pimento in my meatballs whatsoever. I don't want any local flavors in there. So there is just onion in here, garlic, and of course a bit of side for some kind intense flavor, right? That's what's in there, right? If you have, you can trade between the both of parsley, because a lot of times I will put parsley in there, but today I am using celery in it in place of parsley. Celery have a lot of health benefits if you don't know, right? Get to know stuff about your foods, guys. It's going to be important, and it will change or revolutionize the way you eat and prepare your own meals. And if when you go out to dine, you will ask a lot of questions about food, because you won't just want to put anything into your body, right? So I'm about to start. You said demo now. This is probably, I will say, about 3 pounds of minced beef. That's a lot of beef we have in there. I spoke on this before. I want to say again, anytime you are buying minced beef, it must be this color. It must be even whole beef cubes. Don't buy beef that is already dark. You know, sometimes you buy beef and it looks dark. It speaks of freezer burn, it speaks of being there long. Always purchase your stuff at places that their turnover of goods is fast, meaning they have a high volume of customers. You are going to always get the freshest, best ingredients. So I'm about to start now, right? If you didn't know, it might sound strange. Remember, there is no such thing as no stupidness and things like that. Please let us just respect persons, because in reality some persons just don't know. If you didn't know, I want to say now that you don't ever wash ground beef, as it is known in the US, or minced beef. Please let us not get into things with persons, because everyone will have seen someone doing that, and they themselves will have started doing it the way they saw it. But we don't wash minced beef. It's all the question. As chaos in the United States of America, they don't even wash their poultry, because if you get into the study of food somewhat and germs, you will understand that raw poultry of any kind carries high amounts of bacteria, including salmonella and things like that. So you don't want to put that in your sink. If for some reason you have to happen to be washing a next kind of poultry, be it chicken or pork or whatever, please make sure your sink is empty. Totally empty. And once you are done with that, do a sanitization of your sink area, because somebody unknowingly might come in and put something like, let's say, some fruits to wash there, and there's going to be cross-contamination. Let's keep things safe. You all know I don't just come on here to look fancy. I'm coming here to cook. You all know I share a wealth of knowledge with you all. It's for the purpose, because if someone is to ask you, where did you learn to cook so good, and you call my name, but yet you do crazy stuff, listen, quote me as saying Chamion taught me well in everything. right? If you want to say that, I'm not praising myself, I'm saying if you want to follow me, don't just follow my cooking procedures, follow my sanitization process also, Right? So now that I've covered up, you know we don't wash minced beef. Let's get on with the show. So straight from my packaging into my bowl. Straight from it. Won't be washing this. Right? Remember how I said it's supposed to look also. And not sometimes. If you see it and it's not looking good, this color, don't take it. Don't purchase it. I don't care how much you might be feeling for minced beef, just don't purchase this if you are going to buy it and it's not looking like this. And it should also be chilled and not frozen. Right? When you carry it home, however, you want to put it in your freezer section of your refrigerator to maintain its color and all of that, and then you, of course, you will take it out when you are ready for it. Okay? When you are seasoning it, you will see starting to turn brown. It's quite normal for that to happen. Bits of it going to start to turn brown, but once you season it, treat with it quickly so that you know you can move on. Right? I just want to always teach you all, not just show you all how to cook, but teach you all, teach you all, teach you all. It's rather chill and nice, right? So I'm just getting it apart even more. Right? I spoke on our next demo about the proper way to defrost foods. Proper way to defrost food is not submerge it in a bowl of water like we saw growing up here in Trinidad. Proper way to defrost your food, especially your poultry of any kind, is to move it from the freezer section of your refrigerator to the refrigerator side of your refrigerator. Right? So, you know, some of us, we have well, it doesn't matter, but you all know what I mean, because in Trinidad here, we will say, okay, some persons will say freezer. Yeah? Yeah. So, what I'm trying to say is you take it out of your freezer and you put it in the regular side of your refrigerator. I'm saying side because there's so much different versions of refrigerator. Until now, it isn't funny. There's the side-by-side versions. There's the ones with the French, the drawer below. There's the one with 2 drawers. Oh gosh, technology is mind-blowing and awesome. Right, but you all got the gist of what I'm trying to say, of course. Yeah, I know you all got the gist, so I'm not even going to, prolong on that further. Right? So I'm just making sure it's that it's broken apart properly for me to get it together for you all. Right? That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. Right? You just want to make sure that it's, it's broken apart properly so that we can. So you see how now it's looking? It's chill and nice. Very chill and nice. Right? And this is what you want. So we're gonna start by putting in our fresh seasonings first. Let me just wash my hand before I touch my gadgets, right? I don't want to cross-contaminate things. So I just want to give my hand a quick wash and of course wipe it with disposable kitchen towels. Well, all kitchen towels, well, not really, because it's paper kitchen towels I'm referring to, right? It's not any towel that are disposable. I'm speaking about the paper kitchen towels, right? I don't want to touch anything and, because of course you will have your grinders and thing, and if your hand isn't washed or your other bottles and just contaminate everything in your kitchen there, you would have gone with what I just covered at the start of the demo, right? So I'm going to start by adding my, what happened is I didn't finish process the seasoning, right? This is my mini processor. You all know this device, some of you that are familiar to the channel. I want to take the time to welcome my new subscribers and my new followers on the Facebook page. Welcome. I am happy to have you. I value your presence and I am humbled that you decide that I am worth following and watching. Having said that, I'm going to pause. You will be hearing when I'm running the machine. Still have just a little ways to go. You want to chop your stuff even if you have a processor mini or whichever one before you get it in. It's going to make it go by faster, right? Just have a bit of it that just constantly wants to wrap around there, so I'm just going to take it out for the sake of time. Don't fuss with things like those. So let me start by just putting in some of it. I'll use all of it because it's quite a lot of beef that I have there, but you don't want to ever over season your stuff, okay? The beef, I also spoke on this on a prior demo. Beef is a meat on the lasagna, then I spoke on this. Beef is a meat is somewhat salted naturally. Be careful when using salt in beef. Be very careful. And the Worcestershire sauce contains, of course, some element of salt, and so does your seasoned, your Italian breadcrumbs. So just be careful. Don't go berserk with any salt. And most times, meatballs are served with, or they are served with marinara sauce, which contains salt, and they are also served with Parmesan cheese, The Parmesan cheese isn't overly salty, but it does contain salt, so you want to take all that into consideration when you're adding any salt or seasonings that might contain sodium to your food. Always remember stuff like that, right? Don't highly salt anything. The texture of the salt is amazing. I got it from a store by the name of Brook Foods. You will hear me speak about that place from time to time. I did a feature on it, it's on the YouTube channel. Check for it. They are offering for the month of June of 2017 a discount for all my subscribers and followers when you shop at them. They are located on the main road in Dogo Martin. Right, so this is where I got this Stonewall grinder from. I'm going to stop right there with that salt. Going to add some of the black pepper. Remember, it's a medley of peppercorns that my grinder have in it, okay? Some of you will mostly get at the normal, regular supermarket, everyday supermarket, even the high-end ones. You will get just the black peppercorn ones to buy. They sell the grinders also at a lot of the home stores, high-end home stores by themselves. So you will just have to, buy your stuff and, put in it. Peppercorn is just lovely, the medley I have. You are seeing all the colors coming through. It's on the seasoning, you will see it there. Just a couple things I need, nothing much. I'm not a lover of black pepper. A lot of you know that follow me. I'm not a lover of black pepper. It's not one of my things. Everybody has something they like. I don't like it either. Actually, my son, he doesn't like it either. The baby of the family, he don't like black pepper. Right? It's my last child that I'm speaking about. Right, so we added that, right? Just kind of, because once you put in your eggs in there, what will happen is everything will start to stick. It's going to act as an adhesive, your eggs. So please give a stir first. And you must use the eggs. If you are watching your weight, try using it with egg whites then. Or I was going to speak and say that my minced beef, I always buy lean beef. Right? You all understood that? I always get the lean beef. Sometimes you get minced beef and it's very fatty. If you cook it, it releases a lot of oil. If you cook it on your stove top or range top, not this beef. This is lean beef. And of course, you will pay the price because you want lean beef. It's worth it. It's worth it to invest wisely in your food. I think that's something that you all know me for too, so that I only buy the best, right? I'm going to put my dehydrated Italian blend of herbs. Remember, it's a lot of beef, right? So use all of it. That was about 3 tablespoons, right? That will vary on how much you are using. I'm going to also now add my granulated onion and garlic. I'm not going to use all of it though. You don't have to put that if you don't have it. It's optional, right? So I'm just going to put some of it. This is way too much. So about 1.5 tablespoons of each. That'll put us right where we need to be, right? And also I'll put about 1/2 tablespoon of the chili flakes because it's going to release intense heat. Even though we are Trinidadians, I'm speaking to my fellow Trinidadians now and we can't take heat, please be mindful when you are cooking that you will have persons that can't tolerate heat for different reasons, be the younger ones or some adults they just don't like spice in their food or so forth. So just don't be selfish in that regards and don't only think about yourself whenever you are preparing food or foods, right? And you always want to play it safe in your kitchen. So now I'm going to add the breadcrumbs, follow the Worcestershire sauce. Again, there I go. It's a joke I told you all in culinary world. This is about a 1/4 cup of it, right? Told you all it's a joke because every time we pronounce it differently. Each time we say it, it's kind of a joke. But you see the chefs and everybody just start laughing one time. Sometimes persons don't even bother to pronounce it anymore. Right? You want to give a good mix, as I said. You know, meatballs is more or less like an Italian thing, and that's why I'm not going to put any overpowering seasonings in it, right? Shadow Melly is too pushy for my taste. It's quite a pushy, I'm just gonna whisk my eggs. It's quite a pushy local seasoning or Caribbean seasoning. It's overpowering, and I just don't like it for that. I use it, but I don't like it, right? So give your eggs a good beat with your whisk or fork if you don't have a whisk. About here is so, about here is it, because it's fully incorporated there. Right? I'm going to throw in about quarter cup of breadcrumbs to start with on average. I'm just eyeballing it, remember. Or if you don't know, if you didn't make it before, I'm telling you now that the breadcrumbs makes the meatball stiff if you use too much, right? If you use too much, you're going to notice you have a stiffer meatballs, and what you want is a meatball that is very moist and soft. Right, so if you notice it, you still probably need a little more. You can always do that, of course, but don't start by adding too much at once. It's not a bread ball, it's meatball, right? You don't want to plate it too much because it's going to mess up the texture of your meatballs, right? So you want it maintaining some of its integrity and texture, the beef, right? Don't play with it too much. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the breadcrumbs, not too much. About there, I'm going to put, right? And there we have it, perfect. I already have my baking sheet lined. I don't make them small. Of course, I am baking these. Should have said that at the start, but you know, as we progress, I cover things. You know, I try to cover as much as I can at the beginning of the demos. But I am going to bake these. They can be fried. But if you are weight conscious and you are watching what you eat for different reasons, be it diet, doctor's orders, or whatever the case might be, your safest way to do it, to cook this, is to bake it. It's very nice when it's baked, right? So now I am going to start by rolling them out, right? I'm just going to start by rolling them out. So you all see how it looks, right? You all remember I said I'm just going to start to darken as it's on the outside of the as I'm putting it together. So you all seen that happened, right? You saw that it was pink and nice, and because what happened is our body, it keeps temperature, of course. So I'm just gonna wash my hands again because I'm going to spray my sheet. Still spray it even though you are using aluminum foil, because if you don't use the aluminum foil, you will have the mess of that to clean up on your tray after, right? So I'm just giving my hand the next wash before I start. Always wash your hands. Have some soap, some antibacterial soap on your kitchen counter to wash your hands when you are in your kitchen. Don't use your dishwashing liquid, and also don't use so much of a strong fragrant soap, hand soap in your kitchen, because no one wants to see food that tastes in perfume. It's a turn off, right? So I'm going to spray now, and then I'm going to start. I am using an imported organic extra virgin olive oil non-stick cooking spray. It's first cold press meaning it was not used, it wasn't made with any heat, right? And you are seeing it's eco-friendly. It's USDA organic, right? They have their labeling showing that they are certified organic. And again, olive oil will be safest thing because remember I said it's an Italian thing, and of course olive oil, we know it for being Italian, right? So I'm going to start and show you all roughly how to roll it out, and I'm going to speak on the time. Of course, I won't allow you all to stay here and watch me roll out all of this. I'm going to speak on the timing in your oven and so forth, okay? This is usually about the size I will do. If you are serving persons or you are having like you are doing like a tea plate, let's say you want to go smaller than that, of course that one I use there should give you about 4 if you are doing a tea plate, or you are doing glass orders or quarters or whatever the case might be, depending on your pronunciation of it. Okay, so you all saw how easy it is to put it together, right? I'm just going to probably do about 6 on them on before I stop and talk about how long it needs to be baked for. By the way, let me say now that you must bake it for the first couple of minutes. I will say about the first 20 minutes cover it with aluminum foil. And about 10 minutes before you are ready to remove it from your oven, take off your foil for it to get color. Seeing some nice chunks of the onions coming through. That's what you want. You don't want to ever pulse your seasoning so much that you can barely make out what it is, right? You are seeing the seasoning coming through beautifully. There's a place that's selling meatballs already made for you busy persons. If you want to know, well, I don't know if they still do it, a high-end supermarket in East Trinidad. If you want to know, send me a message, a private message, right? You can do so using the email address for the business, which is foodbychamion@gmail.com, right? So you all saw the gist of it, right? I said I was going to do about 6, and I've covered the 6, and I'm ready to speak about it. So you all know that I don't speak about time and so forth in oven. What I will start by saying for this is it doesn't need much baking time, and don't ever put your foods to bake. I don't care what it is you are baking, don't ever put it to bake on the lower rack of your oven, the floor of your oven. Always put it high, because what will happen most times is that the underneath of what you are baking will become so that it might be of no use. You might have to just throw it away or cut it off, which doesn't make any sense after one will have worked so hard to make something. So always put it on the higher rack of your oven. I don't like to speak on the time, the settings that is needed for baking, because that will vary by if your stove or range is electric or gas, and the modern age of your oven. You will know how your oven behaves. So I always say, don't just put food to cook or to bake and walk away. Always keep monitoring it very heavily. So of course you all want to keep watching as I bring these baked meatballs together for you guys, right? So guys, at the start of the demo I spoke about poetry and I called pork. My apologies. Sometimes my mind is so filled with food as I'm doing a demo for you all, and I have to explain things. So it was an error. Poultry is feathered meat, and of course we know pork doesn't contain feathers, right? Pork up here, not feathers. Sometimes we can't take ourselves too seriously. We have to find the laughter in life, or the funny side of life. So I just came back on to say that I could imagine, I could hear you all laughing. No, really I can, because I know you all, how you all feel about me, and I absolutely feel the same about you all. So we're just having a bit of a light moment there, and our beef meatballs, they are getting ready to go into our oven to bake. Of course, don't forget to put the aluminum foil at the top, right? And also I want to say that of course if you don't eat beef for religious or health reasons, you can use chicken. There is chicken in America. You will get the ground chicken to buy even right here in America. They get veal ground, they get lamb, they get pork, they get turkey, and sometimes in America they'll do a combo of 2 meats to make their meatballs. So this is just a beef meatballs. But keep in mind you can't do the other meats like I call, right? I just needed to clear up those things, because of course it may come up as a question, or you all might be wondering. I don't ever want you all to feel intimidated in asking me any questions whatsoever that is food related. Don't feel intimidated. I don't know everything about food, but I'm willing to share all the knowledge that I have. No one person, no matter how well trained they are, can say they know it all about any particular subject. We are humans, therefore we'll always be learning, right? So guys, let's keep watching as I bring this beef meatballs to close or completion for you all, right? Alright guys. So guys, we have reached to the end of our meatballs demo. It's garnished with some freshly chopped, no, some dehydrated, sorry, parsley, and some Italian fresh mushroom sauce or marinara or pasta sauce as some people call it, depending on where you live, right? And of course I put some grated Parmesan cheese on the top of it. It's just gorgeous. By the way, it's moist, it isn't dry, cardboard tasting meatballs. I'm just going to put one on a plate, right? You can get the wedge of cheese to buy, or you can also buy it already grated, okay? I'm just going to add a bit more, right? So you all see the cheese I'm putting on, right? Sometimes it clumps, it does that. Just have to take your hands and gently press it, of course. So I'm going to put one onto a tasting plate, right? For you guys to see the inside of it. Just, you know, that lovely sauce in there. Right, so I'm just going to cut inside for you guys to see. Right? It's very moist, like I said. This is not any dry cardboard meatballs by any stretch of the imagination. Right, I'm just going to straighten that plate a bit for you all. Right, and I'm going to do a zoom in for you all to see a close shot of how moist it is on the inside here. Right, that's what you are looking for when you are doing meatballs. You don't want any cardboard tasting meatballs, and that's the purpose of me not adding too much of breadcrumbs and not baking it open for the first 20 minutes of cooking it or so. Go back and you hear at the start how much time I suggested that it be baked covered for, and then you take it off, take off the aluminum foil cover off of it and let it get its color. Right, it's just magnificent. Guys, as always, the pleasure is my own, right? You all know the business is all over social media. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, and of course there's the channel here on YouTube, which is Food by Chamion. They are all under the same name on social media, which is Food by Chamion. There's an email address for the business if you want to come into direct contact with me, which is Food by Chamion. My first name is spelled Chamion. So it's Food by Chamion at gmail.com. You know, to access email addresses, you have to use all common letters, and my own isn't any different. Guys, until I'm with you all, thanks for watching, thanks for your love and support, and bye.